87 countries later, 11,000 women helped. So I learned it's never too late to get rich. I've been an investigator for 15 years. I have a master's degree, but I just figured out that my God-given talent is what's going to float me for the rest of my life.
So you started this business while working full-time, so it was a side hustle.
Yeah.
I tell y'all, start that thing on the side.
I was traveling the world solo and people were reaching out to me, V, like, oh my gosh, I see you solo travel as a woman and you're still alive. A girl reached out to me and she said, hey, I want to purchase your course. I want to solo travel. She called me back 6 months later and said, I traveled to 10 countries since I took your course. But what I didn't tell you is that I work for Forbes. I want to write an article about you. Once I got featured in Forbes, within 19 months, the company had made almost $2 million. I was able to make my exit from my job. Once I got to country 34, I started learning how to travel the world for free. So I haven't actually paid for a flight with cash in 3 years.
Wow, that is amazing. There's there's so many layers to you.
I was pushed off the ledge, but I learned how to fly.
Period.
Yeah.
And that is how Travel Like a Bawse started.
Yes.
Oh my gosh. Hi, and welcome back to another episode. I'm Vanessa, and today we have an amazing guest on the podcast. She is a solo traveler, and she has been to over 80 countries, and she has trained other people too, because she's a girl's girl, and she's not gatekeeping. Over 10,000 people have learned how to solo travel because of her. And her business has generated over $1.5 million. She's been featured in CNN, Forbes, and I'm so excited to have her on the podcast today. We're going to be talking about everything from travel to entrepreneurship, and it's going to be an amazing episode. Please welcome Keem to the podcast.
Thank you.
Welcome. It's so good to have you here.
Thank you for having me.
Of course, of course. So my very first question for you is, I know travel is your thing.
Yeah.
So, and I said you've been to over 80, but like how many countries specifically? Tell us.
I've been to 87 countries
Whoa.
altogether, but only 82 of them have been solo.
Wow, you've been to 87 countries.
Yeah.
That is more than most people would ever travel to in their lives. That's amazing. I always ask everybody that I sit down with, I say, okay, so how did this start? What is the origin story? Spill the tea. Get comfortable.
Girl.
Because there's one, get comfortable.
Girl,
That's
la la.
We're on the couch so you can spill.
You ready?
I'm ready, girl.
I got stranded on vacation on my birthday in the middle of the night in Amsterdam by two women that I knew for 10 years.
Wait,
girl.
Did y'all hear that? Wait. You said a lot of things.
It was a lot that happened.
You said a lot of things. You got stranded in Amsterdam
On my birthday.
on your birthday at night by women that you knew for 10.
And they didn't even tell me they were leaving. I've traveled to almost 100 countries, but it started from actually being left by two women that I trusted. And from there, I felt that it would be easier for me to face my fear with enjoying my own company and getting comfortable with being alone rather than
Needing
put my trust in someone else. That was how deep it went. So travel was like therapy for me. It was a lot. It was heavy.
That's a lot.
But there are 11,000 women out there that I've helped ace their first solo trip that would actually thank those girls. So I have to as well. So that was how I actually ended up spending my birthday. I took KLM Airlines, I will never forget, and cried the entire time home. So when it came time to me still wanting to travel, but everybody else either had kids or they're like, oh, my man said he can't go, or I could go, but can you give me some of the money? Because I could go, I want to go, but you got to help me out a little bit. I didn't want to do that. Rather than worry about other people's motives or deal with other people's schedules or lack of resources, it was better for me to just take the first trip by myself.
Of course.
But then I aced it. Great. I was pushed off the ledge, but I learned how to fly.
Period.
Yeah.
And that is how Travel Like a Bawse started.
Yes.
Oh My gosh. And now,
87 countries later, 11,000 women helped, $1.5 million in courses sold. So it was a blessing. It hurt. It hurt, but it was for my highest good.
it was.
Yeah.
Sometimes the things that break us to put us together better.
Yeah, I'm telling you, I honestly, if I ever ran into those girls, I would say literally thank you. Thank
Of
you.
course.
Because I learned who I was. So I'm happy about that.
That's a story.
It was.
That right there, that was an origin story.
Yeah.
Wow. And now you've built this business from the ground up, from something that was an unfortunate circumstance that you turned around and changed the narrative. After that happened, at what point did you think, because you started traveling solo because you traveled to heal, right? Because you're like, this is never going to happen to me again. I'm not going to be on other people's schedules. I'm not going to be on other people's timelines. I'm going to do my own thing. So at what point did you get this wonderful idea to teach other people how to do the same thing? How did this become the business that it has become?
Honestly, it was super organic. It was by accident. So I worked at my job for 15 years as an investigator.
Wow.
Got a master's degree, owned my house.
Wow.
So, you know, and by the way, my parents live with me in America.
Yeah.
So I can't afford to leave my job or make too many big gambles because if I miscalculate how this should end, my parents are homeless.
Yeah.
So trust me, I was not trying to make this into a business at all. I was traveling the world solo, and people were reaching out to me, V, like, oh my gosh, I see you solo travel as a woman and you're still alive.
Yeah.
And you come back
That's a
every
big
time.
deal, yeah.
Can you help me? And so, girl, this is so ghetto, but I had this ugly 5-subject yellow notebook.
Okay.
And I would write down everything that could possibly go wrong and what I would do to fix it. So, if I get sick, okay, charcoal pills and nearest hospital is here. Oh, what about safety? Okay, hotel camera in the room, door jammer underneath the door. So I would write down things in this yellow notebook.
Okay.
The more women that reached out to me that were like, I want to do this. I have the same issues.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, well, I can teach you with my notebook.
Yeah.
So it started out very grassroots where I was just helping women do it at the library, at the East Orange Public Library. And what's even more grassroots is that if I had a girl call me from Miami and say, I would love to learn from you, I would say, okay, if I get 5 more girls from Miami, I'll take a waiting list, then I'll fly out to Miami.
Wow.
So I would go to Miami on this very cheap airline, girl, called Fly Frontier.
Wow.
I would go on Saturday, use the conference room at a Hilton, teach 10 girls, go back on Fly Frontier for $49 from Miami to Atlantic City on Sunday, and then report to my job on Monday morning. So this wasn't something that was planned. Again, they paid for my master's. I owed them time. Once your job pays for your master's, you have to give them some time. Yeah. So again, I had been at my job for 15 years. My mother also worked at the same job and got me that job working in like the legal field as an investigator. So these were big shoes to fill, and I could not just just start a course and think I was gonna leave my job. But it actually, I had no idea that there were so many women out there that actually do want to travel the world and don't want to wait on anybody. So I learned it's never too late to get rich. You can be at your job for 15 years, have a talent, and be like, you know what? I've been an investigator for 15 years. I have a master's degree, but I just figured out that this talent, my God-given talent, is what's going to float me for the rest of my life. So it's never too late to get rich. It's never too late to change your mind. It's never too late to walk in your purpose. You know, opportunity loves speed. And if you really, really want something, even if you don't ask with your mouth and you ask with your heart, opportunities will present themselves where you can actually turn something bad into something good to be of service to other people. So it worked out.
Whew.
Yeah.
That is so powerful. So you started this business while working full time. So it was a side hustle.
Yeah.
I tell y'all, start that thing on the side. So at what point did you realize, because of course you had a serious job working as an investigator, they paid for your master's. At what point did you realize that, okay, this side hustle slash passion project, because you were passionate about traveling, right?
Absolutely.
So this side hustle slash passion project, at what point did you think, okay, this could become a business that I can leave my job for? What happened? What was the tipping point?
The tipping point was I was posting on Instagram all the time. I was consistent. So even if you're starting a business and you're like, I don't think anybody's seeing it, maybe people aren't interacting with it, but keep going because all you need is one right person to see it. A girl reached out to me and she said, "Hey, I want to purchase your course. I want to solo travel." 6 months later, she called me back. God bless her. Her name was Adrienne Jordan. She called me back 6 months later and said, "I traveled to 10 countries since I took your course. But what I didn't tell you is that I work for Forbes. I want to write an article about you. This course helped me, and I just bought it because I want to solo travel, and I have been following you." And so, literally, all the days that I didn't think anybody was listening, I'm not getting any sales. Who's hearing this? All I needed was the right one person to see it. I was published in Forbes, and a week later, I got USA Today. I got Essence Magazine and Business Insider in the same year. I signed a non-disclosure with Netflix. A lot of the things changed. I've been featured on CNN, CBS National News. But if I would have stopped after 5 months because I hadn't gotten my first sale, or if I would have just quit, I don't know where I'd be today. And there's so many people that miss out on the gift that you can give to them when they quit. So, once I got featured in Forbes, within 19 months, the company had made almost 2 mil. I was able to make my exit from my job. So that was the tipping point, meeting the right customer. You never know who your clients
serving them
are.
well.
And serving them well. You never know who your clients are in real life. Someone comes to you for a service.
You just know their name and you serve them.
Right. You don't know, oh, she's a freelance writer, or, whatever. You're just walking your walk. And it landed. So walk your walk, live in your purpose, and just do that. Do what you're supposed to be doing. You'll be intuitively led down a bridge of incidents that will lead you to your destiny.
Yeah, speak on it.
Yeah.
Speak on it. Wow. So since you started traveling and doing this full time, since it became your business, I know the course is your major income stream. You've taught over 11,000 people how to solo travel.
Yeah.
That's incredible. Beyond that, have you ever worked with like travel companies, with like sponsors? Like, have you ever been paid to travel?
I've been paid to travel a few times. However, I don't typically work with a lot of travel brands because I feel that, let's say my brand makes $200,000 a month. If you say to me, "Well, we want you to put our link in your bio for 3 days, we're going to give you $5,000. Well, if I'm making $7,000 a day, I just don't think that that's really worth it to me. And so I definitely think it's great to work with brands. But one thing that I've learned is that even in corporate America, there's always going to be a ceiling on what someone else is willing to provide me. But the proportion of my will and my ability to action, and be aligned with things, I can support myself. And there's no ceiling on that. There's no ceiling on my own income.
I was about to say that. With your own thing, it's unlimited.
Yeah.
When you have another person paying you, there's a limit.
Yeah.
So that's incredible. That's incredible. That's incredible. Oh my gosh. Now, I have a question for people who might actually want to travel solo. So now we're going into the travel.
Right.
Like, what should women be aware of? Because they're listening to you, they're getting inspired by your story, your urgent story, your business story. But some of them might be like, wait, I want to sign up for her course because I actually want to travel. Like, what are some things that women should be on the lookout for if traveling is something they actually want to do? Not just business. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
Yes.
So as far as safety, there's a few things that you can do. The first thing that I do is I always have a hotel camera, like I said. I set that up in my hotel room. It has a two-way camera on it, so that way, let's say you want to share it with your husband or your mother, they can actually see you in real time, just like the Ring app, which is wonderful. So like I stayed at a hotel, and the cleaning lady came in twice, but the second time she didn't have any cleaning supplies. And initially when they came into the room the second time, I thought, oh, they just probably came in with a supervisor to do quality check of the rooms before they rent it out. But she came in by herself. And so I was like, oh, okay. So that was something that I made the hotel staff aware of at the front desk.
Yeah.
So definitely get the hotel camera, get the door jammer. Another thing that I do that is key, whenever I check into a hotel, I always ask the front desk, what are the local scams?
Ooh, directly.
Yes, because let's say,
That's
so
amazing.
I went to Brazil, to Rio.
Yeah.
And when I went to Rio, I checked in. I said, what are the local scams? So that way when I get off the hotel,
And they try it.
I know what to, you know, I
Yeah.
know. And they were like, okay, a child is gonna ask you for $1, and the child is gonna look dirty. They're actually incorporating children into the scams.
Wow.
When you reach out your wallet to give the kid the $1
They'll
because
take
they
your
are hungry, an adult is gonna run up from behind you and snatch the whole wallet. So if any child asks you for $1, just say no. Don't even pull the wallet out. Just say no. And so all throughout the rest of my trip in Brazil, kids were on the street, can I have $1? And my heart was hurting, but I was like, no.
Oh, no.
Because I'm like, oh, I'm not gonna get robbed, you know? So definitely talk to locals about like, hey, what's the tea, before I think that I'm just okay in these Rio streets, and I'm not. So definitely ask what the local scams are. I definitely always reach out to the U.S. Embassy. They have this program called the Smart Traveler Enrollment Program. And usually when people travel, they don't travel with no travel insurance, girl. But I ended up going to Panama March 16th, 2020, and I got a call from a Panama number. I answered it, and they said, hey, this is the U.S. Embassy. You're enrolled in the Smart Traveler Enrollment Program. In 17 hours, we have one plane leaving for United States citizens. Get back to that airport in 17 hours. If you're in San Blas or Bocas, like out mainland from Panama City, get back in 17 hours. Had I not even registered with the U.S. Embassy, they wouldn't have known that I was there in order to call me and tell me that they were gonna close the borders in 17 hours and they're urging Americans to leave.
Wow.
So I know that sometimes things seem a little corny, like why would I call the embassy, or, you know, why would I get travel insurance, or, you know, just things like that, but super important. Another thing for women that I find super helpful is know the emergency number in every country that you're going to visit. So like in America, it's 911, but in Bali, it might be 999, or in London, it might be 211. So a lot of women say, well, I'm worried about my safety, but if there was an emergency, who would you call? You haven't even thought that through yet, right? So just small things that make a huge difference logistically.
That's amazing. That's incredible. Now, okay, you travel, you've built this business, you're helping thousands of women, but I see something blinging on your finger. I actually see multiple things blinging, but I see that one right here. Okay, so that means there's someone in your life.
Yes.
Does he like travel? Like, is he interested in travel?
He loves travel.
He loves travel?
He absolutely loves travel.
You found a man that likes your passion as well. That's incredible. That's incredible, because some women want to travel, but they're concerned that, you know, they might have a partner or a boyfriend or a fiance or someone who might be like, no, that's not safe. I'm concerned. Do you have anything for women like that? Or you're just like,
I do,
leave him, girl.
No, you know, it might be a little controversial, but, you know, people have said to me before, like, oh, well, you travel so much. How are you going to find your man? How are you going to find your man?
Yeah, that's what I was like, she did.
I'm not about to dim my light for anyone.
Period.
So the great thing is, when you find someone who their ego is not as important as watching you build a legacy and supporting someone who's already in alignment with her purpose and knows what that is, then it makes life a little easier. You know, I absolutely love the man that Mario is, in the fact that he supports everything that I do. So he's like, hey, you know what? I'm not worried about you traveling the world. I'm just happy to have a front row seat to every single thing that you're accomplishing. I see these emails coming through. I see all of it. So my level of masculinity is not dimmed when I'm following you around because you're about to be on CBS National News in 5 minutes. You know, that's just who you are. And I'm happy to know you and watch you fulfilled. And I'm just so happy that I found someone who allows me to be me without placing any containers on me. You know, it just really helps me. So I'm happy.
That's powerful. That's beautiful. We love to see it. So now that, you've built this business, it's a more than $1 million business. Is there something else coming up in the pipelines? Or are you like, okay, I'm going to teach these women and I'm just going to keep teaching them? Or you're like, oh, I might have another program for them, another membership. No, tell me, because I want people to sign up for whatever you have going on. So tell us more about the program and everything that it offers for women who might want to be a part of it.
Yeah, so the 10-week course is basically everything that it took me 82 countries to learn, condensed into a 10-week program. It teaches women how to travel the world for free.
Oh, wow.
I actually moved to Antigua, Barbuda in 2020, and I've been living in Antigua since. So it talks about being an expat, how to travel with children, safety, just every single thing that you need to know about solo travel. We even have a module about mindset transformation.
Oh, wow.
Once I got to country 34, I started learning how to travel the world for free. So I haven't actually paid for a flight with cash in 3 years.
Wow.
And my 10-week course, the first module of the course is 30 different ways with every airline in the United States, how you can travel for free with that airline.
Wow.
I have an algorithm for every single airline.
Wow.
So with American Airlines, I have 7 different ways that you don't have to pay for a flight ever again for your natural life. Delta, I have 5. Like the first module, I could talk to you about safety and packing and all these things, but first I got to get you in the air. And I can help you do that for without paying cash. So that's why the course is such a big hit, because people want to know, how can I travel the world without it breaking the bank?
Yeah.
So that's the first thing. And the second thing is my course for business owners, because a lot of women actually come to me and say, hey, I love everything that you're doing, but as a budding entrepreneur myself, how were you able to build this $1 million brand in 19 months? I need that blueprint. And so I have a course on that as well to help women with that as well.
Oh, okay. That's amazing.
Yeah.
That's amazing. Oh my gosh. What's that one called?
It's called Monetize Like a Boss.
Monetize Like a Boss, which aligns with Travel Like a Boss.
Travel Like a Boss. Yes, Monetize Like a Boss. How to get these coins on social media.
Period.
Yeah.
That is amazing. There's there's so many layers to you. I made a list of things to ask you, but even from the beginning, from your origin story, I'm already how you were able to turn lemons into the juiciest, wealthiest, sweetest lemonade. We love to see it.
Humbleness is key, though.
I was going to ask you, what about your mindset has helped you get from where you were from that moment on your birthday to where you are right now? What about the way you think? What are some nuggets that these amazing women watching can take away from your story? What are some things you're I'm humble, I think this way, I think that way, I don't care about this thing, I care about that. What are the things about your mindset that have helped you get here? So
this is going to be super scary, y'all. When you wake up this morning, you can bet that Starbucks is going to be there, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. You can bet that Uber is going to come when they say.
Yeah.
Bet on yourself. Can you do that? It's scary, I know, because we don't always know what we're capable of, and we don't always really trust ourselves to the level that we trust everything else, that it will just appear. But if you just decide that you want to make a contribution and you defend that from the mountaintop with the intention of revolutionizing the way maybe people eat, the way people drive, the way people travel, whatever is your gift, the world needs it. Give it shamelessly. The right people will come. The right people will come. If you are passionate, look at Basquiat. Just believe in yourself the way that you believe in everything else.
That this couch will hold you.
Right. Technically, as long as you believe in yourself, you can never really fail. And then go forward in life knowing, I'm going to sell this course and I cannot fail.
Yes.
I'm going to do this and I can't fail. I'm not sure what it will look like. Just believe that everything is going to work itself out.
I hope you found this episode helpful. Remember that I'm rooting for you, so please do not stop rooting for yourself. And until next time, please take care.